Hi guys, it's Carrie, and today I want to talk about some of the most common comments on my channel. And no, it is not that I look like Pam from The Office, though that is the most common comment on my channel. I want to talk about the comments that make me actually really happy. It's when you guys point out that I tend to focus on the mundane everyday thing. That is why you find my channel so charming or so relatable or so aesthetically pleasing, as you would say. I genuinely appreciate those comments so much, but what kind of gets me down is that those comments tend to be followed by the same person saying that where they live is not aesthetically pleasing. Or you want to start a YouTube channel and you live in a small town, so it's so boring and there's nothing to show. I don't think that's 100% true, and I kind of want to talk about that today. I think it's a good time with the new year rolling in to talk about perspective and how we all see the world very differently. Even your roommates or your family that you live in the house with, you all live in the same house, but you all see it differently. And I think that's really beautiful, and I just kind of want to share how I see the world, which was really weird to think about as I was like writing down my points for this video. I will admit that I do live in arguably one of the most aesthetically pleasing cities in the world. It is a place obsessed. Everything needs to be picture perfect. So I totally get that I'm coming from a real privileged aesthetic place. But I do think that there is beauty absolutely everywhere, and I just kind of want to share how I see it and how I've always seen it. And yeah, so let's jump into perspective. Also, all of this will be 100% common sense and things that you've heard before, but sometimes it just takes one other new person for it to stick. So here I am, giving you more common sense as usual. Let's dive in. So I'm gonna start off with one that's a little bit weird, just to get that out of the way first. Live in another world. I quite rarely live in reality as it is presented in front of my eyes. I have said it before, but I'm a very visual person, and one of my dream jobs is to be a music supervisor, and they are the people who are in charge of finding and setting the music in movies and commercials. And so whenever I listen to music, I can never have music just as background. I'm always actively creating a music video or a movie scene to go along with whatever I'm listening to, which is why I have like a very specific music taste, I guess. It has to translate very easily into film. And I've done this since I was a kid. It means that every time I'm listening to music, which is every time I step out my door, I'm subconsciously location scouting for films and music videos that I will never make. But you know, if I'm on a city bus, I'm probably creating some kind of music video that goes around whatever I'm listening to on the bus. Same thing with if I'm going to the grocery store. There are so many, like grocery stores and convenience stores are just wonderful places for film. But so everywhere that I go, I'm pretty constantly asking myself, okay, what would be filmed here? What kind of scene would happen here? If I had complete creative control and I had access to cranes and drones, if I could trespass, stuff like that. And I think that when things are filmed, when you see something on a screen, you tend to think that it's a little bit more special, a little bit more beautiful, which is why if I film a coffee cup, it tends to look a little bit nicer than if you were to look down at your desk and see your coffee cup. Things just look better when they're given that importance of like it was captured on film. So I just encourage you that the next time you go into anywhere, whether you're getting on the bus, whether you're going to the grocery store, it might sound a little bit vain, but pretend you're in a movie. Location scouting, looking at wherever you are from the eyes of a film director, it's a really fun mental exercise, and it can change the way that you see a very mundane place. Number two, this is something you guys definitely already do subconsciously. We all do it, but just to point it out, compartmentalizing. So we can see, depending on how good our peripheral vision is, we can see quite a bit, but the world can look pretty boring unless you're somewhere like when I was in Scotland. The reason why I was practically in tears the whole time is because literally Every single edge of my vision was breathtakingly beautiful, and it was overwhelming, and it caused me to cry. So it's clearly not a normal thing. Our everyday life, we don't see that much beauty. So what we do is we look at a little frame of it. I know a lot of people who follow me are photographers, are artists. We constantly look at the world in potential shots. You are constantly looking at your world through just these little squares. I think a really good example of that is the quintessential Tumblr post of like a messy bed. Everybody has access to a messy blanket. If you take a picture of your messy comforter really close up, it's probably gonna look like that Tumblr photo. But if you zoom out and you just show your messy room, it's not gonna look the same. I'm pointing because my room is currently a mess. And so there are plenty of instances where you can find your room, for example, is so aesthetically pleasing, but you just have to break it down, maybe sometimes zoom in real close. As we practice that, the more that we see these potentially really beautiful shots, you see more and more and more of them. And so you start to see your world in a really beautiful way. And that's something that I've always done, but it's really heightened since I've started using more film. I lived in a basement for 4 years. Like, I didn't have like any furniture. I lived in a pretty wacky place, but I was still able to find these angles, these tiny corners that were really beautiful, and I started to really appreciate where I lived even more. I'm pretty sure we all do it subconsciously, but if you do it in a more conscious way, it really a wonderful way to see the world. So I'm starting to lose my mind because I've already filmed this video just sitting here like 3 or 4 times because I haven't been able to make this next point sound God, like less annoying. This is the final and most commonsensical point that I want to talk about. So just please forgive me for sounding corny. This is a very obvious thing, but again, sometimes you just need to hear it from one more person. So here I go. I want to talk about noticing things. So this time of year especially, New Year rolling around, we hear a lot of these buzzwords like mindfulness, like gratitude. When we think about mindfulness, we're typically thinking about meditation. When we think about meditation, we're typically thinking about sitting in a room, eyes closed, calmly, quietly meditating. But meditating and being mindful can happen anywhere, anytime. Being mindful is literally just paying attention to all of the little details. It's typically like thinking about how the feeling of, I don't know, your arms are on the side of your body, or how the sounds are coming towards you. What's the temperature of the room? What does the air feel like? That is being mindful while you're sitting down meditating. You can very mindfully drink tea as well. I think we all know the difference between when we're studying, we're in this like mad work rush and we're just like mindlessly chugging coffee, versus sitting really quietly in the morning. You made a nice cup of coffee, you can watch the steam, you can feel the warmth of the cup when you pick it up, you can really taste the different layers of the coffee. You can be mindful all the time. And I think that that's a practice that has really changed my life. I think I did it quite subconsciously. I think I am a generally very mindful person. I do tend to pick up on details, but once I started to kind of practice it more and focus on it, I've picked up so many more wonderful things that kind of slip by us. I think we all live a very rushed, very busy life, and sometimes you just want to like get home and watch Netflix. But if we're able to carve out just a little bit of time to notice things, you'll find that your world is so much more beautiful than even now. Even if you think you live in a really beautiful place, there's so much more to discover. You guys know I'm a sucker for sunlight, or a window or a puddle reflecting the sky, a lipstick stain on a coffee cup, or the taste of an orange. Little things like that that we pretty much all have access to. The sound of a crunch of an apple, things like that. Seeing or hearing or feeling those tiny little details, it makes you appreciate the world around you so much more, and it makes you see the world in such a positive light. It's a really fun mental exercise. I highly suggest next time you're in the library, or maybe you're at work, you find a couple seconds, a break in the action, just sit back and actively try to find something that's really beautiful, whether it's the old book smell or the ironically ugly library carpet, because every library has a really ugly carpet. Again, with the dang sunshine, maybe the sunshine's coming in, maybe it's raining. Actively going in there and really looking for the details, they'll start to come to you naturally, and I think your world will be all the better for it. And so this was a very long-winded way of me saying, what was I saying? It might take a little imagination, it might take a little effort, a few mental exercises to see it, but I think that everywhere you live is really beautiful. And the next time you watch one of my vlogs, pay attention and you could probably recreate a lot of the things that I do. For example, my most recent vlog, I literally just drank soup. I went to a park and I drank soup. Those are things that it doesn't necessarily need to be done in Seoul, because I filmed it and because I looked at it at certain angles and I put nice background music. It was enjoyable, I hope. So I just hope that in 2020 we can all see a lot more beauty that we kind of missed, myself included. Sorry that this was super long-winded. I tried filming this many times and I just keep rambling, and so I hope that you got anything out of this. I hope that the next time you go to the grocery store you feel like your life is a movie, and yeah, I will see you guys next time. If you need any music, I do have a Spotify, which I will link down below, or you can just search Cari Cakes. I tend to update my playlist pretty regularly, so yeah, if you need any of that, go for it, and I will see you guys next time. Happy New Year. It's 2020 by the time that I post this, and yeah, can't wait to see what the year holds. So okay, I really need to go now, but talk to you guys later. Bye.